The movie opens in the summer of 1994 in New Mexico, where 18-year-old Hyunjae, a Korean-American girl, lives with her immigrant parents. She often helps them out in their taxidermy shop and is friends with a girl from next door. One day, Hyunjae asks her mother if she can stay overnight at the shop, using the excuse of needing to finish some tax calculations. Once her mother agrees to let her stay late, Hyunjae heads out for a fun night at a bar with her friend. There, Hyunjae immediately hits it off with a young firefighter. After he buys drinks for her and her friend, the friend leaves early with someone else, and the firefighter offers to drive Hyunjae home. While waiting at the station, Hyunjae notices that the badge on his uniform is fake and tries to escape. However, she is captured, tied up, and thrown into the trunk of another car. Meanwhile, Officer Bob Galt is on his way to work. When Bob spots a cruiser and decides to stop, he finds another officer and the owner inspecting the body of a woman who has a tracking device attached to her ankle. After Bob confirms that they are the only ones who have seen the victim, he coldly shoots them both dead. Meanwhile, Hyunjae regains consciousness and finds herself shackled to a bed in an isolated warehouse. She feels a sharp pain in her left temple where the van hit her, and before she can make sense of anything else, she is drugged and has her braces removed. After being cleaned up, her ankle is secured with a shackle. She is quickly placed with other women like her and introduced to Bob, who is revealed to be not just a corrupt official, but also the local leader of a human trafficking ring. The facility is overseen by a volatile, drug-addicted man named Vaughn, who is also Bob's assistant. On Hyunjae's first day in the warehouse, Bob brings kittens to the women living there, but when Hyunjae refuses to comply, Bob pulls out her missing police report and tells her that he has information about her parents. He warns that if she doesn't obey, they will not hesitate to harm them. He also renames her Eden and gives her 2 days to accept this new reality before she is forced to work as an escort at the facility. The girls are required to bathe twice a day and undergo strict tests and other checkups to ensure they remain disease-free. Eden is eventually selected for her first assignment and is instructed to dress up before she and another girl are taken to star in an illegal film. They endure some demonic fetishes and are brought back bruised and battered. When the other girl tries to comfort her, Eden breaks down in tears, knowing that in their situation, they have no one else to rely on but each other. Vaughn drives Eden to her next job, and after prepping her, he drops her off at the client's room waiting for them to finish. But when he hears a commotion, he rushes in and finds the client. The hot dog is missing, with only ketchup left behind. He quickly pieces everything together and runs out to chase Eden. He catches her swiftly and drags her back to the warehouse, where she is shackled with her hands above her head and forced to sit in a bathtub filled with ice overnight. As punishment, Bob then confronts Vaughn for failing to keep Eden under control, resulting in Bob slapping him. A year passes, and Eden has grown accustomed to the profession. She becomes friends with another girl named Priscilla, who has stood by her during tough times. One day, after submitting a test, the girls wait in a room where Eden and Priscilla engage in their usual chat. Priscilla tells Eden about another trustee named Svetlana Vons, and Eden notices her wearing a class ring that her father had given her the day before she was abducted. Priscilla is shocked to learn that Eden is so young and asks if the men know her age. Eden looks confused and asks what happens to the girls who are too old, but Priscilla doesn't know. Moments later, Priscilla is forcibly taken away, and no one sees her again. After that, Eden decides to retrieve her ring from Svetlana, and they get into a scuffle until Vaughn and an assistant separate them. Vaughn punishes Eden for causing a disturbance by forcing her to swallow the ring, and Eden complies. She seizes this opportunity to volunteer to assist Vaughn with tracking operations and accounting. Due to her experience working at her parents' shop, Vaughn dismisses her offer and orders her back to her room. During their next gig, after the girls entertain at a college frat party, Vaughn asks Eden for help. When she tells Vaughn that the payment was less than agreed upon, Vaughn loses his temper and punches one of the frat brothers, securing the full amount. But just as they are about to leave, Vaughn realizes that his 2 girls have escaped. To win his trust, Eden helps him track down the girls and successfully impresses him. Gradually, she begins to replace Svetlana as Vaughn's trustee and is assigned minor tasks like cleaning the house, rather than being sent on tough jobs. Eden is also responsible for answering the phone. During a crash course, Vaughn tells her that if a caller asks for a quote, they might be with the FBI, so she needs to avoid taking such calls. He also teaches her how to drive and takes her along when he buys new contraband for himself. After a while, Bob is seen hosting a seminar on contraband trafficking. After the seminar, a detective investigating the double homicide in the canyon last year approaches Bob, mentioning the people Bob has killed, and questions him because the GPS tracks him near the location of the missing deputy and the landowner. Bob denies knowing anything about it and leaves after an uncomfortable conversation. One day, while Eden is taking orders over the phone, a client asks for a price. Realizing it is a police trap, she hesitates but still gives out the price. Later that day, Bob meets Vaughn and Eden by the lake, where they plan to dispose of the bodies of the deputy and the landowner they have stuffed into the warehouse freezer. Along with these two bodies, there is a third body belonging to Svetlana, who had to be ended because she didn't perform well after being replaced. The three sail to the middle of the lake, and Bob begins berating Vaughn, who doesn't take it lightly and brings Bob to the brink of death. Seeing Eden's disgust, Vaughn explains that he has orders from above to finish Bob. A few days later, Vaughn takes Eden to deliver a girl to the home of a man named Mario. Eden immediately recognizes him from his tattoos. It is the same man who sent her to the warehouse. She makes an excuse to go to the bathroom and finds the room filled with cribs, wheelchairs, and surgical instruments. On the other side of the bathroom, in an adjacent locked room, she finds a pregnant Priscilla. That day, her test has come back positive, which is why she was taken away. Priscilla is happy to see an old friend, telling Eden that she has been taken care of, but also warns her that her baby is not safe, as she knows it will be taken away after birth. On the drive back, Vaughn notices Eden is withdrawn and takes her to the middle of the desert. He asks her what she saw in the house, and she admits to seeing a makeshift clinic with cribs. He questions her loyalty, and to prove it, he orders her to shoot the girl in their truck. Eden refuses, but Vaughn warns her that if it isn't the girl, it will be her. Eden is about to pull the trigger when she breaks down in tears, but Vaughn stops her at the last second, laughing as he embraces her, calling her a crazy girl. Eden sobs, not fully understanding what she is about to do, but she quickly regains her composure. They continue on their way back. When Vaughn receives a call informing him that one of his enforcers is suspected of being a mole, they tie the man up and torture him. As Eden is tasked with packing up the girls for their move, Vaughn takes her to his house to organize the girls' passports and informs her that they are going to Dubai. Realizing this might be her last chance to escape, Eden decides to clean Vaughn's pipe when he leaves to use the bathroom, just as she has done before, spraying the pipe with cleaning chemicals. Vaughn returns with a bag full of cash and notifications. Eden is tense. He reassures her that they are partners and that one day they will be overseeing the entire operation. He then lights the pipe, inhaling the toxic fumes, and after a final breath, his lungs are left cleaner in death. Eden finds some pliers and cuts the tracker off her ankle. She steals some syringes and contraband from Vaughn's fridge, then grabs the bag of cash and walks out. She goes to Mario's house to negotiate her and Priscilla's freedom, but he refuses. He reminds her of the first time he brought her in and asks Eden if she remembers him. Eden says she doesn't, even though he could have claimed to be Mario, but Mario just laughs. Eden then asks if she can at least see Priscilla, and after some contemplation he agrees, giving her 5 minutes to meet her. As he walks ahead of her, leading her to another room, she seizes the opportunity to inject him with a lethal substance, ending him instantly. Seconds later, Eden rushes to Priscilla's room and tells her they need to leave immediately. She also breaks the news that Mario has sold her newborn, causing Priscilla to break down in grief over the loss of her child. All Eden can do is hold her in her arms. Supporting Priscilla on their way out, the two of them finally escape a long nightmare. Eden finds a phone booth and gathers the courage to call her family. She fights back tears as she dials the number and finally hears her mother's voice on the other end. A full year has passed. When her mother realizes it is Hyunjae, she breaks down in tears. But as Eden looks at her reflection, she finds it hard to recognize herself after everything she has been through. That's the end of the movie. Thanks for watching.